Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to show you how we use an iPad as our in-car entertainment system. So we use this iPad Pro as our sat-nav and music player while we're driving in the van. To make sure the iPad doesn't run out of battery, we have it permanently plugged in. We can either plug it into the Ledger batteries at the back of the van or run it off of the engine, which is what we normally do, as we normally use it while we're driving. So to go through some of the basics on how we actually use the iPad is connected via Bluetooth to this Bluetooth adapter down here. So you just hold down the power button, this unit comes on, and the iPad will automatically pair with this. This simply has the volume control and another wheel to skip back or forward in tracks and to play and pause the music. This unit then connects to our speakers via a 3.5mm aux jack. To turn those speakers on, there's a little switch down the bottom here, and that turns them on. So to give you a little bit more information as to how we actually use the iPad, the main apps that we use is obviously Maps and the music players. For Maps, we tend to switch between Google Maps and Apple Maps. With Google, it's definitely the easiest thing in terms of trying to find locations. So on here, if you want to search for gas stations or restaurants or anything that you need that you'd normally search for, I think Google is just the easiest in terms of finding something. For example, if we search for a Repsol fuel station on Google, you can see all of the different Repsol stations there are available. If we go into Apple Maps and search for the same thing, as you can see, in the same area it's only finding 3 or 4 stations. So to compare that to Google Maps, there's a lot larger selection on Google. So most of the time, despite the fact that Google I think is a slightly better navigation app, we normally use Apple. And the main reason for this is because if I pick one of these locations,
head northeast toward Calle de la Nobleza.
When you're navigating in Google, you can't actually add a side-by-side app. So for example, if we want to listen to some music, on Google Maps, you only have the ability to put the music app floating on the top. If you have the music on the left, it then covers up the vital information as the next. For example, if you're on the motorway or the highway and it tells you to take the exit, all of the information is in this top part of the screen here, which means you have to have it on the right. There is less information on the right hand side, then it takes up a big portion of the screen. However, if we now swap to Apple Maps and we pick just any one of these garages again,
Proceed to the route.
you can see we can do the same thing with the music in having it floating, or we can put the same music app side by side on the screen. So one, you can pick to have obviously your music at a larger size, but two, it means that you're still getting the full view of the map is now been moved over here. The other benefit of using Apple Maps is that you can have the music at whatever size you like. I tend to do a 50-50 split and have the maps closest to me so that I can see all the information that I need, and the music can stay on the passenger side and I don't need to worry about it so much. So the actual usability and the view of the map is a lot easier with Apple Maps. I guess that's fair enough, and the reason why Apple have probably done that is so that people will use their maps over Google, because as I say, Google was definitely, I think, a better option in terms of being able to actually find where you're going. If we're searching for something that we need to find, like a petrol station or something like that, we tend to use Google, get the location, and then copy that location into Apple Maps. It's a bit of an extra step, but it really is a lot easier when you're driving to be able to read all of the screen when the map is moved over like this and you're not losing it behind having the floating app on top. So the main app that we use for music in the car is Plex. Plex has got all of my main playlists synced to the iPad itself, so we don't actually need any internet connection to listen to music while we're driving, or if we've got it connected to the internet, it will then also be able to download any song that we want. I just find that Plex is one of the best apps in terms of all media to use, and it's nice to have everything in the one place. So to get radio via the iPad, we simply use an app called Tunein Radio. You can download the free version and it gives you access to all radio stations that are available on the internet. So we've got all of our favourites from different countries. So we've got some Spanish stations, we've got some English stations and some American stations. But this is perfect for listening to the radio while we drive.
Ritz-Carlton, and then the Republican moderates want to have a vote on witnesses.
Now another app that we use specifically for campers is the Park for Night app. And the best thing about having this on the iPad and using the iPad as our navigation is that it's really easy to find places to park. You load the map, you search for the area that you want to go to, and then it'll show you all of the available parking that's suitable for campers or just general parking in that area. On there it also comes with pictures, so you can see exactly what the parking is like, and if you want to then go there, there's straight away a link to put it into your navigation. It loads up in maps and you can start to navigate.
Proceed to the route.
So to give you a little bit more information about the sound, as I said, it goes into this Bluetooth adapter that then goes into our surround sound system in the van. So just above the camera here there's actually a left, right and centre channel. There's 2 speakers in the doors, which are the original speakers from the van, and then 2 rear surround speakers. There's also a subwoofer that sits under my seat. So the sound system is great through the van. To give you a rough idea of what it sounds like, I've got some copyright free music. So that's everything in terms of how the iPad works and what we use it for. Obviously once we've arrived somewhere, the best thing about this, we just disconnect the charger, and the stand that it sits on is just a normal magnetic case. So you just disconnect the magnetic strip, lift the iPad off, and we can take that with us when we leave. And we're left with literally just this case. So it's a normal magnetic iPad cover. So obviously the iPad fits perfectly on here. These little pads here are just covering the screws that hold it onto the wooden bracket that I made behind. So to give you a better look at the iPad mount, it's a standard iPad case. I cut the screen cover off and then cut another strip off of that cover to create this small lip at the bottom. The magnets are strong enough to hold it in place, but just in case we go over a big bump or pothole, it's nice to have a little extra security and know the iPad will not fall from the dash. And this is the Bluetooth adapter. Again, I will link it below if you're interested in this item for your car or van. I'm really pleased with how it works. You simply pair it via Bluetooth to your iPad or iPhone or whatever device you have, and then it will play the music or phone call either through the 3.5mm audio jack or via the built-in FM transmitter. The main reason I went for this particular model is it was the only one I found with a rotary style volume control, rather than individual buttons for up and down. The cinema surround system we have in the van is a Logitech setup. It runs off the inverter, and the main reason we use this is for watching movies, but the sound is so loud and such great quality that I decided to use them for when we drive as well. The only change I made was to integrate the original door speakers into the system. The kill switch for the speakers is simply to cut the power off completely. I had an issue where the static was still coming through the speakers even when they were turned off, so this was the simplest solution to cut power completely. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and for more videos like this, make sure you subscribe. Also, if you have any questions on this setup, please feel free to drop me a message or comment below. See you in the next one.